This is the Louie T Network.
And then my team was 6-10, and we ain't smell the playoffs. Then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs.
Who else could it be? For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the continuous coverage of the 2018 NFL playoffs as we break down another great Super Bowl in the books, Super Bowl 52. Congratulations to all Eagles fans out there. Celebrate! Your Philadelphia Eagles are now Super Bowl champions for the first time in franchise history after the 41-33 victory over the New England Patriots. What a Super Bowl, what a hell of a football game. We expected it to be good. We didn't expect it to be great like this. Over 1,100 yards of total offense. Brady threw for over 500 yards. Nicholas Foles was outstanding. The Eagles defensively were trash, but so were the New England Patriots. So much to discuss. At the end of the day, the guy that I told you I expected to show up big was head coach Doug Peterson. And my goodness, did the man show up big or what? Some gutsy calls, including a big ball busting fourth down attempt in Patriots territory, which I actually loved and predicted. And I had an argument with my dad, who I was watching the game with, about that 4th and 1 call. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the breakdown. But that was the game. And he's been a ballsy guy. Remember, I didn't love all of his decision-making in the first year as Eagles head coach. Thought he went for it way too much, gambled way too much on fourth downs, turned down point-scoring opportunities to go for it on fourth down too many times. But when that's your MO, when that's what you do what you do. Scare money don't make money. And the Eagles, wow, we counted them out not once, not twice, but 3 times in this postseason. We didn't think they could win at home versus the Atlanta Falcons in the divisional round. We didn't think they were going to beat Minnesota at home in the championship game. And we definitely didn't think Nicholas Foles was going to out-duel Tom Brady and Doug Peterson was going to out-coach Bill Belichick. But you could argue both of those things took place in this game. Now, I will tell you, there were missed opportunities on both sides of the football for both teams. All right? There's a lot to get to with the Patriots and Malcolm Butler not playing in this game, him crying during the national anthem. I don't know what the hell happened there. They give us some bullshit-ass excuse at halftime, which we knew they were going to do. We're going to dive into that. You got the Brady drop on the beautifully executed trick play. The Eagles didn't drop theirs. And so there's so much to comb over. But first and foremost, damn it, Nicholas Foles was balling out of his brains. He's not going to be an Eagle next year. He's hot right now. And you got to strike while the iron's hot. They're going to trade him. But God damn it, Nicholas Foles made every single throw in this game. Even the interception was on the money. And Alshon Jeffrey never, ever trust a man with 2 first names. Had his hands on the football. Had it cradled. And then it came out upon impact. But Nicholas Foles, the touchdown to Clement in the end zone, the pass to, I want to say it was either Torrey Smith or Aguilar over the middle late in the ball game. The throw to Alshon Jeffrey over the outside shoulder as he's sliding down. Come on, man. Where's this guy been? Nicholas Foles acting a fool. I mean, he was, without a doubt, an NFL starter in this playoffs. He looked like Joe, if you remember Joe Flacco's run. Remember that in 2012? Joe Flacco's run through the postseason, the one that got on that huge contract for the Ravens. That's what Foles essentially just did. I mean, he didn't go 11-0. Okay, he did throw a pick in this game, but 3 touchdowns in this game. I think he threw 3 last game versus the Vikings, if not 3-4 in that game, whatever the case may be. And he had a touchdown toss, I believe, versus the Atlanta Falcons. Even if he didn't, he was sparkling this postseason. After the first half versus Atlanta, Nicholas Foles was dynamite. And who didn't think that they had seen this movie before? Brady with 1 timeout, 2:20 left, down 5. Who didn't think they had already seen this movie? Just hit the rewind button, man. I've seen this movie. And I said to my dad, unless this is a different sequel, we've seen this movie already. We know how this ends. And I told my dad, when they score this touchdown, they got to get the 2-point conversion. It's just as important as the touchdown itself, because if you don't, Brady's just going to go down and get the touchdown and you're going to lose anyway. And Brandon Graham with the play of the game. Neither team could get to the other's quarterback for the entire game. And when it mattered most, Brandon Graham on the inside against Mason, one-on-one, wins the matchup. I thought Brady was late to the check down. I thought the flats was open to the running back, James White. He should have been throwing the football. I thought Brady was late. He realized he needed to get there. He realized a second too late. That was on Brady. I don't blame Shaq Mason. And my voice may go in and out because I was talking the entire Super Bowl. I had me a couple of drinks. I'm feeling great. But Shaq Mason, he got bull rushed. But I thought Brady got to the check down late. He needed to check that one down sooner. And Graham with a great play. Derek Barnett with the scoop up. And even then I said, hey, Patriots still got a timeout, 2-minute warning. Eagles are probably going to go conservative, run it 3 times. If they don't get a first down, they're going to have to give it back to Brady. And I said, Jake Elliott's due for a miss. The youngster's due for a miss. Ice water in his veins. Right down the pipe. Gives them the 8-point lead. And I didn't like the trickeration from the Patriots late on that reverse on the kickoff. Great job by the Eagles to not kick it in the end zone. Not only did that kickoff short force the Patriots to make a decision on what they wanted to do, which they tried to go trickeration with the reverse, but it also made them bleed off an additional 8 to 10 seconds off the clock. I thought it was huge to kick it short and force them to in the field of play instead of giving Brady the football at the 25 with 1 minute and 2 seconds left and saying, all right, go 75 yards in 1 minute and 2 with no timeouts. And I thought the first play of that drive, Brady had a shot to Hogan on the sidelines. We're going to talk about Brady because even though Brady threw for over 500 yards, I didn't think he was as sharp as we've seen him in the past. But forget about all that. This isn't about the Patriots. This isn't about Brady or Belichick. They didn't win. For one of the few times that those two have been in the Super Bowl, for only the 3rd time. And yes, the NFC East runs the Patriots. Okay? They've been 8 times. The 3 losses, all NFC East teams. Twice to the Giants, now to the Eagles. They've got problems with the NFC East due to the New England Patriots. But let's start with the Eagles in this game because let's start with the defense because I got so much to say about the offense. They were so extraordinarily good in this game. Let's start with the defense. They were the opposite of what the offense was. They were atrocious in this game, were the Philadelphia Eagles on defense. And I talked about this in the breakdown and the preview, and a lot of Eagles fans said, you're discounting our secondary, and Robinson has been one of the best corners in the slot all season, and our safeties are good, and these guys are going to step up. Our linebackers are not going to have any problems with the Patriots running backs, yada, yada, yada. They were concerned with Gronk, okay? And he did have a good second half, but he wasn't a difference maker in this game. He was for a brief period there in the second half. That first drive of the second half in which the Patriots marched it down the field, and it really was the Gronk drive. Other than that, he wasn't a huge factor in this game like we thought he was going to be. The backs, they were big in this game, but not the way that we thought. They were huge in the screen game for the Patriots, were the backs out of the backfield. We didn't see the wheel route up the sideline or the pick plays for those running backs like we customarily do with Brady and those guys out of the backfield. But this secondary got torched. And the reason they got torched, I talked about this in the pregame and the preview for this game was, and it's the same thing. I say it all the time, and it's not a secret. I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. If you're going to beat the New England Patriots, you got to get to Tom Brady. And how was this game decided? Ultimately, with Brandon Graham getting to Tom Brady, because if he doesn't, they're going to lose this game. If they don't get to Brady, they're going to lose this game. Brady's going to have 580 yards passing and another touchdown and another come-from-behind victory. He's going to go down as the greatest ever. But instead, Brandon Graham got to him. But you didn't do that all game long. Fletcher Cox never called his name once. Brandon Graham didn't call his name until that last strip that gave the Eagles the decisive, pretty much, win in this game. All right, Derek Barnett, until the recovery of the fumble, never mentioned his name. Vinny Curry didn't mention his name. Chris Long never mentioned his name. The Eagles did nothing up front. Timmy Jernigan, nothing, nada, zilch. Heard nothing from the front of this Eagles football team, which I said was going to be the key, which is why Tom Brady had 505 yards passing. I've got to imagine that that's some kind of Super Bowl record. I can't imagine anybody else throwing for over 500. And I don't imagine anybody ever doing that again, because this game had a ton of offense. Offense on both sides. Tons and tons and tons of offense. No defense. No D. None. Just a bunch of offense. No D. Because neither team could get stops, and the Eagles were atrocious in the secondary. I thought that they had a ton of zone coverages that were just busted. How many times did we see Patriot receivers wide open with no Eagle defender in sight and tons of running room? Now, I will say, the hit that Malcolm Jenkins put on Brandon Cooks did alter this game, because you took the leading receiver for the Patriots out of the game. I put that on Cooks. Head on a swivel. You know you're not getting a ton more yards. Get your ass down, hit the deck. And Malcolm Jenkins said, nope, I'll put you on the deck. Don't worry about it. And so that was a huge play. But other than that, this secondary of the Eagles, which I told you wasn't very good, got their ass roasted in this game. And when the play needed to be made by the defense, it was made by the group that I said needed to step up. And that was the defensive line, Brandon Graham being kicked inside as a 3-tech, being able to beat Shaq Mason on a bull rush and get to Brady, knock the football out of his hands, recovered by Derek Barnett. The run defense, even for the Eagles, wasn't very good in this game. But obviously, I told you that I expected Brady and that bunch to pretty much abandon the run. Because what we've seen in the past from the group over there in New England is that they adjust to what you do well. And if we know the Eagles are one of the best run-stopping teams in the league, they're not going to waste their time trying to run the football. They're going to, and I told you, they're going to sprinkle in a few runs just to stay relatively balanced, to give the illusion that, hey, we're not going to throw it on every down. Still got to account for the run just a bit. But when it's all said and done, Brady was going to line up and sling it a ton of times. He threw it damn near 50, and I told you I thought he would throw it, somewhere in that neighborhood, and it wouldn't shock me if he did. But the game kind of necessitated that they throw it a ton, because the fact that their defense couldn't get any stops against that potent Eagles offense, which we'll get to here in a second. But defensively, one last thing with this defense. You saw this defense not be able to get pressure on Brady. We saw this defense not really do a great job at stopping the run. But what we did see this defense do a lot better than the Patriots do was tackle. The Patriots were abysmal in this game tackling. How many yards after contact came for Eagles running backs and receivers? How many third downs were achieved because a guy couldn't wrap up on a third down? I'm thinking about Johnson Batamosi, one of my favorite names in all of the National Football League, not being able to wrap up Nelson Aguilar on a third down as he spins and gets out of the tackle and picks up a first down. It's plays like that. It's missed opportunities like that for the Patriots that cost them in this game. But the Eagles, as bad as they were, they tackled. How about that tackle on Brandon Cooks early in the game when he thought he was a high jumper and decided he was going to leap over Rodney McLeod, and Rodney said, not on my watch, get your ass on the ground, and took him down after, and that was a high-ass leap at that. But he took his ass down. The Eagles were much more sound in their tackling. I thought both teams missed some tackles, but the Eagles were much better at getting the ball carrier on the ground in this game than the Patriots were. And that was a difference in this game as well, because if McLeod misses that tackle, you're talking about the difference between forcing a field goal, and if I'm not mistaken, if that was the first one, then the Patriots got it. But if that was the second one, the Patriots ultimately missed that field goal because of the bad snap and hold. So you're talking about the difference between a first down, extending a drive and allowing Brady to have some shots at the end zone, and having to settle for a field goal in a game that ultimately came down to the wire. So tackling makes all the difference in the world. And despite how bad the Eagles were, I thought they were the better tackling team in this football game. And that made a huge difference. Despite having Patriot receivers running wide open the entire night, they made better attempts at tackling in this game. And that proved to be a huge difference. Of course, the huge play made in the game. Neither defense made any plays for the most part. But Brandon Graham's strip of Brady with just over 2 minutes left in this game was the defining play of this Super Bowl. We'll remember all of the gimmick plays, the Foles touchdown grab, the Brady miss catch. We'll remember all of those plays. But the Brandon Graham strip, you can't tell me if you're an Eagles fan. And I know some of you wanted to believe, but you knew it was Tom Brady. It was Tom TBE. And if Graham doesn't get that strip, you're going to lose this game 40-38. Mark my words. That's a huge strip by Brandon Graham to win you this football game. Let's get to the offense, though, because this offense for the Eagles was tremendous. I don't really know. What more can I say? What more can I say about Nicholas Foles that hasn't already been said? He's the MVP of the Super Bowl, and rightfully so. He deserves it. The guy made every single throw in this game. I've already talked about a few of them, but I got to talk about them again because the throw to Alshon Jeffrey for the first touchdown of the game. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The throw to Corey Clement in the back of the end. There are 3 Patriot defenders, 2 right in the proximity, and the linebacker is right there. You can't throw it any better. Are you kidding me? Wowzers! The throw to Alshon Jeffrey over the outside right shoulder as he's sliding down in between 2 Patriot defenders right by the sidelines. Stop it. Stop it. I said, Nicholas, who are you right now? He's in fuego. The man could not be stopped tonight. I was just floored by how good Nicholas Foles played in this game. And I told you that Doug Peterson was going to come up with an adjustment because the Patriots took away the inside slants on those run-pass options. And I said, watch Doug Peterson in all of his splendor. Watch him make the adjustment. And what did they do? They started throwing it on the outside. And I told you, you take shots. They're going to come up and be aggressive, trying to take away the slants underneath, go up top. And what did they do? They went up top and they exploited that Patriots defense. And we talked about how bad this Patriots defense was all season long and how they had gotten better at stopping teams from getting in the end zone. Not tonight. They were scorched in this game, and it's because of the ability of Doug Peterson to put his players in a position to execute. The players like Nicholas Foles, Alshon Jeffrey, never, ever trust a man with 2 first names. Torrey Smith made some grabs. He had a couple of drops on some contested balls, but he made some catches as well. The first one of the game on a crucial 3rd down to get the party started again. You want to start off with a little bit of momentum. That catch on the 3rd down on the high ball where he had to go up and high point it with the football and hands, it's all Torrey Smith, and that's beautiful. But the running backs, Corey Clement over 100 yards, or at 100, I think it was, in this game receiving. He was dynamite in this game. And there were so many guys that stepped up. LeGarrette Blount with a couple of huge runs in this game, especially early. It was so much going on offensively, but the story of the day continues to be Nicholas Foles. Zach Ertz did what we expect Zach Ertz to do. Game-winning touchdown grab for Ertz on the slant. We've seen that a time or 2 from him throughout his career. The Eagles win over the Falcons. I think he ran a slant similar to that late in that ball game on a crucial 3rd down. Ertz, this is what he does. He's a machine on 3rd downs, had some big 3rd down grabs in this game. But Nicholas Foles is the story here, folks. And yes, he is trade bait. After the way he played this postseason, after winning the Super Bowl, after being the Super Bowl MVP, he is absolutely trade bait. His stock has never been higher. And I can't imagine where the Eagles would be without him. And so it'll be bittersweet if you're an Eagles fan because, yes, Wentz got you here. But with that injury, if you had a lesser backup, you would have been at home watching this Super Bowl. And because of the play of Nicholas Foles in this Super Bowl, I mean, he made every right decision. He got out of the pocket. He extended some plays. Every throw was pinpoint accurate. You look at him and you marvel at what he did. You were waiting for the big mistake. And even the INT was a solid throw by Foles. It wasn't its best of the night, but Alshon had it, like I said, cradled. And if not for impact as he was stumbling with the ball slipping out, that's probably a completion at worst, an incompletion. But nonetheless, Nicholas Foles was every bit as good as Brady. The numbers for Brady are just ridiculous. They're stupid. But he was every bit as good, if not better, than Brady, because I thought Brady missed a lot. Foles didn't miss anything tonight. That's the difference between two quarterbacks. Yeah, Brady's got a ton of numbers. He's over 500 yards passing, but Brady missed some stuff, okay? I can recall at least 3 plays where I'm like, that's not Tom Brady. Brady doesn't miss that. And it's not like the Eagles were applying pressure on Brady. It's not like they were hitting him a ton. It's not like we had a reason to see Brady struggle in this game. He just missed some throws that we're accustomed to seeing him make in his sleep. Foles didn't miss anything. Guys in tight coverage, guys wide open. Foles was just magnificent. He was a magician out there. And everything that he touched turned to gold tonight. Nicholas Foles, my God. Mother effing Nicholas Foles. Who would have thought? I would have bet everything I owned that Nicholas Foles couldn't take this team to the Super Bowl and then perform the way that he did. Celebrate, Eagles fans. You're Super Bowl champions. The wait is over. You've waited so long. And of all people, Nicholas effing Foles is the guy to do it. Who would have thought? That's a trivia question 20 years from now. Wow. Unreal. The run game was outstanding. Nicholas Foles was outstanding. This offensive line that has not gotten enough credit all season long for the Philadelphia Eagles. They were outstanding in this game. Did Foles was he even pressured in this game? Seriously, was he pressured? He may have been hit twice. He may have run out of the pocket twice. But for the most part, he was just as comfortable as he could be. He was staying at a 5-star hotel, and each star was represented by that offensive lineman in front of him. Because he was as comfortable gets in that pocket. There was no pressure. Neither quarterback, for the most part, was under siege in this game. Neither one of them. But Foles in particular, boy, he could build a house back there. And we talked about the lack of pressure by the Patriots. They drafted Derek Rivers to try and get pressure, and he tears his ACL in camp. They had nobody. That's why they picked up James Harrison. They have nobody that can win a one-on-one matchup and get to the quarterback. Trey Flowers is the best they've got, and he's not even good. And so Foles had time, and that's, again, give this offensive line so much credit. I don't think they've been given enough credit throughout this season. Jason Kelce might be the best center in the league. Stefan Wisniewski came over, 2-3 years ago in free agency. That was a sleeper signing. I wanted my Redskins to sign him. He's been outstanding. He gets injured. Isaac Suomalo comes in. There's no drop-off. No drop-off. Jason Peters gets hurt way earlier in the season. Big V comes in. No drop-off. We thought Big V would be an Achilles heel. He would be a weak link on that offensive line. I couldn't tell that Jason Peters hadn't played all season long. I couldn't tell. This line, underrated. Lane Johnson makes a difference. When he's suspended, they struggle. When he's in the lineup, it's a different Eagles offensive line. They run it. They pass protect. They're as good as you get in the NFL, and they haven't gotten enough credit. But credit must be given because Nicholas Foles ain't shit without this offensive line. So go ahead and give those big guys up front their just due right now. Because they were outstanding this entire postseason run. But if you haven't been watching, let me tell you, they've been outstanding all season long. And they did it again. They did it again in this game. And it helped the Philadelphia Eagles score 41 points. Outdueling Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. They were outstanding. Foles, Ertz, Clement, Blunt, Jeffrey, Smith, Aguilar. Everybody contributed in this game. But it all starts with the guy that I told you I had the utmost confidence in. I said, the one guy I don't worry about is Doug Peterson, because I told you, even as a rookie coach, I said, I don't know if he's a manager of men, okay? I don't know if he's a leader of men. But I said, one thing I can tell you, because when Wentz first came into the league, right out the gate, remember the Eagles started out that season like 3-0. Right out the gate. Remember they whooped the Steelers' ass last year? In Wentz's rookie season, Steelers were undefeated. Eagles were undefeated, and they went off and beat them like 34-3, something like that. And I said, man, Doug Peterson is drawing up some gems, man. This shit is crazy. Now, he went forward on 4th down a ton, and I'm like, I don't agree with a lot of these calls, and it cost you a bunch of ball games. And Wentz was young, and his team was young, and they weren't ready. And I said, I don't know about Doug Peterson. I don't know. But I can tell you this much. Dude is creative as the day is long, and as a play caller, the dude is light years ahead of most teams in the league and most play callers in the league. And you saw it again today, man. And I told you, I had no doubts that he would outduel Matt Patricia and Bill Belichick. No doubts in my mind. My question was, could the defense stop Brady enough? And I thought there was going to be a mistake or two maybe by Nicholas Foles, or maybe Ajayi fumbles, or there would be a mistake in there by the Eagles. Haven't been in the Super Bowl really before. And so I thought there'd be a mistake or two that would give the edge to the Patriots. Nope. They had that one pick, but it really didn't hurt them. The Eagles, they did whatever they wanted to do on offense. They moved it up and down. They didn't score in the first half twice. Once by having a punt and the other on an interception, and they were going for points on that drive as well. In the second half, it was much of the same. They moved the football up and down the field. They had some. Let's talk about some of these gutsy play calls. Start with the first 4th down attempt by Doug Peterson, turning down a field goal early in the ball game, and instead electing to go for 7. Ballsy call. I think at the time the score was 9-3, and I'm saying, was it 9-3? It might have been. I think it was 15. It might have been 15-6 or something. I can't remember what the score was, but at the time, it was ballsy because me and my dad were debating. Look, you're gonna get down here more times. I'm more gonna lean towards being aggressive when I'm not sure how many more times I'm gonna get back down here. I'm not sure. I can't be sure that I'm going to get down here enough, so I need to make it count when I do get down here. So let's go for it. Doug Peterson, nah. We playing the Patriots. Scared money don't make money, man. I'm going to kiss this nice, roll it, hope it comes up nice. But are we going for this? We're not kicking field goals and expecting to beat the Patriots. I love it. What you got for me? He said, oh, Birdman hand rub. Oh, what I got for you? I've been cooking this one up for a while now. This is a Super Bowl special I got for you. We got this direct snap to the running back. So it's going to look like Wildcat, right? We're going to toss it to the tight end, Trey Burton, right? And Nicholas Foles is going to act like he's blocking. And no one's going to pay. It's the quarterback. No one's going to pay him any attention. He's going to go into the flats. Touchdown! When you seen that one before? Coach, I haven't. That was brilliant. Pure genius. Man, love Doug Peterson, man. The scary part is him and Wentz are just getting started, man. That shit is scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. As a Redskins fan, that shit is scary. That Wentz and Peterson are in this thing for the long haul, and they just getting started. He did this with a backup. Now, Nicholas Foles isn't your average backup. The man has been a starter in this league, and a damn good one at times. So he's not your average run-of-the-mill backup quarterback. But still, he did this with a backup quarterback. Could you imagine what he's going to do next year? Now this team has confidence. They have confidence now. They expect to win. Can you imagine what they're going to do with Carson Wentz when he comes back next year? The man took Nicholas Foles and made him trade bait. Listen to what I'm telling you. Frank Wright, who should be a coach and will be very soon, okay? Doug Peterson, they got this team, this offense, clicking on all cylinders, and they're doing it with Nick effing Foles. Think about that shit for a second. Who thought Nick Foles was going to take these boys to the bowl and ball out? You know why he did? Because Doug Peterson is drawing this shit up, man. Doug Peterson is drawing this shit up. And it's not going to stop. He's not going to run out of plays. He's not going to run out of ideas. It's why the Bears decided they needed to go and snag a guy from the Andy Reid tree. There's no more creative offense than what's coming out of Kansas City under Andy Reid. You guys know that. You had Andy for over a decade in Philly. You know Andy is creative. Andy can't win the big game. You know that too. Andy's bad at clock management. You know that too. But you also know Andy is creative as shit. Doug came from that Andy Reid tree, just as creative, open to ideas from assistants. This shit is crazy, man. This shit is crazy. How good Doug Peterson is in only year 2. That's why the Bears went and got Matt Nagy. That's why the Bears went and got Matt Nagy, because they said, damn, we look at what Doug Peterson is doing and how creative they are in Kansas City, how creative they are in Philly. And if we get a sliver of that with our young quarterback, what they doing with Wentz in Philly, if we could get that, what they going to do with Mahomes in Kansas City, if we could get a piece of that, what they doing with Alex Smith, sign me up for some of that. This is the new trend. This is the new trend. Right here, what you seeing in Philly, this is the new shit. This is the new crack. Every hallway got some crack in it. Don't get trapped in it. Patriots got trapped in that hallway tonight, and they couldn't get out. That hallway was littered with some of that Doug Peterson magic, boy. Blue magic. Or in this case, Kelly Green magic. As in Philly Green magic. Couldn't stop those boys. Only could hope to contain them on offense. And that's why the Eagles won this football game. Damn the defense. The defense was straight asshole tonight. Came up with a big stop when they needed it, though. But the offense won this game. 41 points. Give it up for Doug Peterson, man. If you sleep, wake your ass up. Doug Peterson. He's got that shit rolling in Philly. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a Redskins fan, I'm nervous. Because this shit ain't going to stop. Wentz is that dude. Doug Peterson is that guy. You put them together, you got a combination that could be lethal for a decade plus. Let's get to the New England Patriots, and then we'll get to some comments. I know you guys have a ton to say, and so I want to get to your comments. So let's see. Quickly go through the Patriots. In this game, let's start with the defense. Everything that I thought could happen to them happened in this game. I thought that they were going to be out-schemed and executed, outsmarted by the Eagles coaching staff on the offensive side of football, and they were in this game. That didn't come as a surprise to me. They don't have the horses on defense. Now, one of the most intriguing storylines, and I can't wait to hear what happened with Malcolm Butler. I don't know why he didn't play in this game, but he was crying during the national anthem. I don't know if he injured himself during pregame warmups. I don't know what happened, but obviously he didn't play in this game at all. They went with Rowe, who you know very well in Philadelphia, as he was a corner for you for a brief period of time in Philly. They went with him, and they just rolled the dice. And they didn't go with Malcolm Butler in this game, and there's really no excuse for that unless something was wrong with him. So, and he looked perfectly fine to me on the sideline. So I want to know why in God's green earth wasn't Malcolm Butler on the field. There's no, you try to tell me you got better guys out there? Malcolm Butler got his ass roasted this year. I get that. But he's still better than anybody else you got outside of Stephon Gilmore. So the fact that he wasn't on the field, that's fishy to me. And so I need to know. I need answers for that because you got your ass roasted in the secondary in this game. And I'd like to think that Malcolm Butler would at least given you a chance. Probably got his ass roasted too. But I saw a ton of zone coverage. I thought we were going to get Stephon Gilmore on Alshon Jeffrey for the entire game. Like number one on number one all game long. Both college teammates squaring off all game long. Because when we got that matchup, Stephon Gilmore won that matchup all night long. Remember the interception? That was Gilmore. Draped all over Alshon Jeffrey. Even though Jeffrey almost came down with that. That was Stephon Gilmore. The 2-point conversion, that was all Stephon Gilmore. The fade on a third down throw that led to the Foles touchdown, it's all Stephon Gilmore on Alshon Jeffrey. So I thought that would have been the matchup from the word go. You didn't do that, and Alshon hurt you early. And before you made the adjustment, he got you. So again, I don't understand the logic there. Like I said, the Patriots got cute. They got outsmarted. They got out executed. But that was something that they did on their own. They could have prevented that had they just done what they had done all season long, which is put Stephon Gilmore on the opposition's best receiver. They didn't do it early. It cost them early, and they made the adjustment, but it was too late. It already cost them about 2 or 3 scores in this game, including a big bomb to Jeffrey down the field. And it was great coverage by Rowe. He was right there, but it was an even better throw. But I would have loved to have that been Stephon Gilmore instead of Rowe in that situation. But nonetheless, you didn't get any pressure. Kyle Van Noy, I thought he played well against the run, especially in this game, and even had the breakup on the 2-point conversion. Thought he was really solid, but everybody else stunk on defense. You tackled poorly. This was the worst tackling exhibition I've ever seen from the New England Patriots. You couldn't tackle to save your life. You gave up runs and a lot of yards after contact on runs. Some key third downs were gained and achieved after contact before the sticks. The one that comes to mind is the Johnson Botamosi missed tackle on Nelson Aguilar for a first down. There were a number of other guys that were able to get loose and pick up yards. There was a 3rd and 4 run where they just kind of sort through the garbage and pick up the first down. I mean, you guys weren't sharp tackling in this game. You got 0 pressure on Nick Foles, which I knew was going to happen. You don't have anybody. James Harrison is 900 years old. I don't know what you thought you were going to get from him. I think that first game he came over and got you 2 sacks, fool's gold, okay? And that was in garbage time anyway. But nonetheless, he wasn't going to do anything for you. You had to find that out the hard way. There's a reason he was sitting on the Steelers bench all season long, all right? But nonetheless, you got nothing from him. You got nothing from Trey Flowers. You got nothing from anybody up front. Malcolm Brown was moved off the spot in the run game a ton. He got no pressure in this game. It was what I thought you were going to get from this Patriots defense, essentially. I didn't think they could stop the Eagles offensively, but I did think you would find a way to get into some third downs and find a way off the field. Or the Eagles would move it, but you would find a way to clamp down in the red zone and stop them from getting in the end zone. You weren't able to do that in this game. Eagles moved it down the field. And they got in the end zone when they got down there. There wasn't a bunch of settling for field goals in this game. Eagles dominated you 6 ways to Sunday. And I'm not surprised, but what I am is disappointed at the tackling and disappointed at the fact that at some point you got to heat up Nicholas Foles and say, all right, yeah, you're hot. Yeah, you're playing with confidence. We're going to heat your ass up like a microwave now. And if you beat us, you beat us. But we're not going to sit back with these garbage-ass 4-man rushes. Every now and again, we'll come with the 5th defender. And these Eagles defenders were just stonewalling these Eagle offensive linemen were just stonewalling these Patriot defenders. Just eating them up. I mean, Foles had all day to throw. No pressure. None. Can't say I'm surprised, though. Can't say I'm surprised. You get to the offensive side of the football, and the Cooks loss was huge early. Brady was outstanding for much of the game, but I thought he missed some throws too, man. You're talking about the Gronk miss to start the second half. Now, they ultimately got it going on that drive and scored a touchdown. It was the Gronk drive, but Gronk running wide open on the seam. That's easy money. I mean, that's in his sleep easy money to Gronk. That's their favorite route to hook up on. It's just the seam right over the middle. And he missed him by a bunch. All right. Remember the first possession? Jalen Mills gets a breakup on Gronk on the slant. How behind was that throw? He's lucky that one didn't get picked off. He's lucky that pass found grass. Because that easily, in the red zone, tight, confined space, that easily could have found the Eagles defender's hands. Poor throw by Brady. Remember there was another throw to a receiver over the middle think it was Hogan this time. Might have been Amendola. Might have been playoff Danny. Or Danny playoff. Playoffs? Behind him. And Jenkins was right there. And he knocked it away. Easily could have been picked off. Brady behind again. And then the biggest miss in the game, though. For as good as Brady was, almost over 500. And again, a lot of these completions were the wide open guys, okay? Let's not sit here and act as if Brady was putting it on the money like Nicholas Foles was. He didn't have to, for the most part in this game. Now, the throw to Gronk in the end zone, that's vintage Brady. That's stupid right there is what that is. That's dumb. But the throw to Hogan to jumpstart that final drive when they were down 8 at their own 8-yard line. You got Hogan on a 20-yard out. Get the completion, get out of bounds. It's exactly what you want to jumpstart that drive. Only run off about 7 seconds off the clock. Get a huge chunk to get the drive jump-started. Stop the clock. He misses him. Brady wasn't his sharpest. For as good as the numbers are, Brady missed a bunch of throws and could have been picked off. There was an out cut late in the ball game that I thought Darby had a chance at. Brady wasn't the sharpest in this game. But in typical Tom Brady fashion, in typical Tom TBE fashion, he gave his team a chance. He gave his team, over 500 yards passing. He gave his team a chance. When the defense couldn't get a stop to save their damn lives, he had to do what he did in this game, which was take his team down the field. Now, there were open receivers all over the place. Open receiver galore. But when they had to have it, one of the few times Brady wasn't able to deliver. And they ran it. I thought they ran it effectively against the Eagles front that is usually stingy against the run. Again, Eagles were kind of loading up to stop the pass, and they sprinkled in some runs in there and did a good job of it. But I thought they needed to attack the linebackers and safeties more with the backs I thought their backs had a tremendous game catching the football. The screen game was outstanding, but the Eagles did apply pressure during the screen game on Brady. But the Burkhead screen was huge. They did some good things, getting the football in the hands of playmakers out in space in this game. But the Cooks injury was huge. I didn't think they involved Gronk enough. I would have liked to have seen him get more targets, more opportunities to make plays. But at the end of the day, the offense did enough to win. When you amass over 600 yards of total offense, it's not your fault. When you scored 33, it's not your fault. They did enough to win in this game. The defense was just atrocious. It was an atrocity. It's a monstrosity. It was as bad as you can get. Both defenses were a joke. But the difference was when the Patriots needed a stop defensively, they couldn't get it. The Eagles gave them a shot. And I want to talk about this 4th down attempt by the Eagles because I didn't talk about it on their side of things. But this was ballsy, and I loved it. My dad was like, you got to punt. 6 minutes left. You can't give Brady and the Patriots the football here. They're going to score. And I said, that's the point, boss. That's the point. Is if you punt the ball away down 33-32 here with 6 minutes left, if Brady and company put together a methodical drive, Eagles had already spent one of their timeouts. If they put together a methodical drive here, you don't get the football back. You lose 33-32. But if you go for it here and you don't get it, they can't put together a slow, methodical drive. Either they're forced to score or give it back to me. One or the other. But they can't bleed off 6 minutes of the clock from the 40-yard line. They can't do it. It's not possible. So, in essence, Doug Peterson said, I'm going to roll the dice. Because it's the same thought process that teams go through when they kick an onside kick late. You get 2 chances to get the ball once. I can kick this onside kick. If we get it, great. If we don't, the team is going to be conservative, most likely, run it 3 times, try to make us use our timeouts, eat up the clock, and then either they're going to get a field goal or they're going to have to punt. Either way, we're going to get the football back. But they're not going to be able to run out the clock. I said, go for it. Scared money don't make money. And I said, if I know Doug Peterson the way I think I know Doug Peterson, he's going to go for this. And unlike the Eagles, who were able to get the stop when they needed it with the strip by Brandon Graham and the recovery by Derek Barnett, Patriots just simply couldn't get a stop. You get the Nicholas Foles play for a touchdown on the 4th down. down by the end zone, and you get the Zach Ertz. That was a beautiful pick play, by the way. They had 2 in-breaking routes. You had Selleck running in a 5-yard in and Ertz running a 3-yard in. And because his in intersected with Ertz, they ran into the defender in man-to-man coverage, springing Ertz free. Beautifully, again, Doug Peterson drawing up a gem, man. Drawing up a gem. Getting him wide open and getting that first down. And that was huge because not only did it move the sticks, it also allowed the Eagles to bleed the clock and then ultimately go down, get the Ertz touchdown, eat up a vast majority of the clock, but also put the pressure on the Patriots to need a touchdown. Not need a field goal, need a touchdown to win the football game. Beautifully executed and ballsy call by Doug Peterson. But again, he's always been one to push his chips to the middle of the table. Ain't never been scared a day in his life, man. That's the thing I love. I always said, if I'm going to go down guns a-blazing. Bang, 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 bang. Clip needs to be empty. When I'm done squeezing the trigger, all I want to hear is click, click, click. There should be no more bullets in the gun, man. Especially when you playing in the Super Bowl versus the Patriots. Ain't no time for conservativeness, man. You looking for conservativeness? Take your ass to church. This ain't the place for that, though. I know it's Sunday. This ain't the place for that, though. You want to win a football game. You want to hoist the Lombardi for the first time in franchise history. Empty the clip. Doug Peterson said, I not only emptied the clip, but just in case, I had an extendo right here, my back pocket. And if I needed to load it back up, I could have. If Brady would have went down at the very end and scored a touchdown and got the 2-point conversion, some way miraculously, extendo clip right here, insert, load it back up, I'm ready to fire, man. If the Eagles would have gotten the football first, there's no doubt in my mind they go down the field and score a touchdown and win the game in overtime. They couldn't stop them. Couldn't stop them. Let's get to your comments, though, man. What a game. Eagles are your Super Bowl champions. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2018 and beyond. We changed the game. Want you to help us do that by simply hitting that subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. Let's get to some comments. See what we got. And I know a lot of y'all probably left comments earlier on. Them shits are long gone. All right. So if you had a comment that you wanted read and it's gone, come back with it, man. Just bring it back. Use the hashtag LouieTLive. If you haven't been here before, use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on air. Reby says, don't matter now. We are in the books. Watch out. We are in there, and we know we have a promising future. Nick Foles and Doug against the infamous B&B. LOL, can't wait to hear the backpedaling. I ain't got no backpedaling for you because I knew the offense could do this. I didn't think your defense was going to be this bad and that the offense was going to have to do this. But make no mistake about it. I didn't think that you had enough, and I thought there was going to be some kind of mistake by Nicholas Foles in there somewhere. And the interception, I'm not putting it on him. I thought at some point, Jay Ajayi, a tip pass by one of your receivers, most notably Torrey Smith, something was going to go awry. James Harrison off the edge, even though he's 900, Foles doesn't see him, ball comes out. Something dumb was going to happen. It never happened. It never happened. Brady can't catch. Speaking of which, let's talk about that quickly. The Patriots drew up a beautiful trick play of their own. And they were the first team to try to throw it to the quarterback in this game. So both teams had the same idea. And Brady just can't catch. His unathletic ass. Ball laid out there beautifully by Amendola. I think it was Amendola. And Brady's unathletic ass. 2 left feet. Nothing but green grass, space, and opportunity. And his ass can't catch. Damn it, man. Congratulations, Reby. Your Eagles are Super Bowl champions. I didn't see it coming. This is crazy. This is crazy. Unbelievable. That's why we love football. Brandon Williams says, What was the reason Malcolm Butler didn't play the game? We all want to know that. I've already mentioned that. I can't explain why. Again, he was crying during the national anthem. I don't know if he sustained an injury. At halftime, the report we got out of the halftime break was they wanted to play the guys that gave them the best chance to win. That's bullshit. Because, so you trying to tell me Malcolm Butler, who played all year long, wasn't one of the guys that gave you the best chance to win? Come on, man. I'm not buying it. Something happened. We just don't know what it is. Jason says, do you think Wentz will get to the Super Bowl now? I do think Wentz will win at least a couple. Yes, I know this is still... he says he wants to know if Wentz is going to win a Super Bowl. Yeah. If this Eagles defense can continue to grow, this is a young football team, and they're young in all the right spots. And let's time out. I need a 20-second. Can we give Howie Roseman some credit right now? I need to do this right now because since the whole Chip Kelly debacle, okay, remember what his franchise was after Chip left them high and dry? After Chip was discarded, cast off to the side, remember what he had done to this roster? He had gutted this team. No Shady, no Macklin. Foles was gone. This team looked morbidly bad, okay? You were left with, what's the quarterback from New Orleans and Kansas City and Missouri? Oh, shit. Chase Daniel. You were left with Chase Daniel at quarterback. No receivers, no running backs, but Darren Sproles. It's bad. It was really bad. And Howie Roseman came in, and you had Sam Bradford. And Howie took Sam, flipped him for a first-round pick. Remember, you didn't have a first-round pick because you had drafted Wentz. You had went up and got. So you get rid of Chip Kelly. Howie Roseman then makes the trade to go up and get Wentz, which was a risky proposition, but he did it. Then remember, the whole thought process at that point was, hey, we're going to let Wentz sit. We're going to start Bradford, and when the young fella's ready, we'll put him in. So what happens then? Howie says, oh, shit, Teddy B just went down. Vikings desperate for a QB. Flips Sam Bradford's stinking injury-prone ass. Now, when Sam's healthy, he's dangerous. But flips his ass for a first-round pick, recoups the first-round pick you gave away to get Wentz. Brilliant. All right? Then he turns around. He goes out and gets Alshon Jeffrey on a one-year deal. Turns out to work for the team. They re-sign him to a long-term deal. Re-ups on Zach Ertz. Goes out, makes some shrewd moves along the offensive line. Wisniewski is a guy that comes to mind. All right? But you draft some guys, Big V, huge backup that turns into a starter for you on this run. Isaac Suamalu filling in some games. You go out, you sign Brandon Brooks in free agency at the other guard position. Right? Torrey Smith, free agent acquisition. Nelson Aguilar, didn't seem like it was working. They stuck with him. He's turned out to be a gem for you. You look around this team. The trade for Timmy Jernigan for a second-round pick. Brilliant. You bring in all this talent. Who's the mastermind? Howie Roseman. And remember, Chip Kelly treated the man like a peon. Told him, sit down, man. You know you want to do something? Go get me a glass of water. Treated Howie Roseman like a peon. And Howie said, I'm going to sit here and wait for my turn. Because when it comes, I'm going to get this shit back on track. And Howie Roseman has done nothing but put this team in a position to win. Give Howie Roseman his credit, because it's long overdue. This team was in the gutter 2 years ago. Howie came in, turned shit around. Nobody thought about Doug Peterson as a head coaching prospect. Give Howie Roseman some credit, man. Damn it. Reese says, is this the end of the Patriots' reign of terror? Yeah, it's done. It's over. I told you this was the last one. That's why I thought they were going to go out on top. This is it. It's over. Because the whole band is gone. It's being broken up. The band isn't getting back together. You got Josh McDaniels going off to Indy. You got their defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia, going off to Detroit. Yeah, there's a little bit of a rift between Brady and Belichick, but that shit is overstated. They're going to still be together, but it's not the same. You can promote from within if you like, but it's not the same. The train's just not going to keep rolling. They should have lost to Jacksonville. I think if Pittsburgh would have made it, they would have beat them. This shit is over with. Shit is over, son. And that defense is trash. They got them here this year. But I'm going to tell you, they're going to struggle even more. Unless Derek Rivers is legit and they draft better, which Bill Belichick, love him to death. He hasn't drafted well. Okay? That whole brass, they have not done a great job of drafting. Don't talk to me about Elandon Roberts. He was missing tackles left and right tonight. Okay? Don't talk about these mid-round gems, and you can't draft a receiver to save your life. Every receiver that's ever been productive for you, I won't say ever. That's harsh. Of late, okay? We can go back to the Chad Jacksons of the world. You've tried to draft receivers. Justin Bethel. You've tried to draft. You suck at drafting receivers. You don't have a viable pass rushing threat on this team. Everything that you've ever garnered, worth note on this team, you've either traded for or gotten in free agency. Off the scrap heap. It's what you do. Because you can't draft well. You don't. And you don't value picks. You'll trade those away to get a veteran. How about that trade for Coney Ealy? How'd that work out for you? Stupid. Gave away a second-round pick. Didn't even keep the man on your roster. When the regular season started, he was already gone. That's what the Patriots do. But we don't pay attention to that kind of stuff because they win. It's a results-based league. But I'm going to tell you, that's this. When you stop winning, when Brady goes away, when shit starts to hit the fan, all that shit is going to come to the forefront. And we're going to see this Patriots organization go from one of the best to a middling to lower tier franchise in the next few years. Watch what I tell you. All that shit that they've done, all those young players that should have been developing, and you trade them away or you trade away picks for veterans because you're trying to win now, which I get it. I understand. Win while you can. I'm all for that. Because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. But it's going to leave you high and dry when it's all said and done. Thanks for that chat donation of $10. I didn't see a name with that, but thanks for that super chat. I really appreciate that. Let's keep it moving though. Ed says, do you think Tom Brady should retire? The man just threw for 505 yards in the Super Bowl. I've got to assume that's some type of Super Bowl record. Hell no. He ain't retiring, and I'm going to tell you right now, he's the MVP of the league, okay? If Wentz didn't get injured, I think Wentz would have won it, but that's nor here nor there. Bottom line is, Brady's still playing at a stupid high level. He's not retiring, nor should he. He'll be around, and he's got at least 2 more years. At least 2 more years. Reby says, I got to watch this later. I can't hashtag for shit tonight. Thank you, Lou. I'm sure I will be thorough and entertaining. Man, go celebrate. You ain't supposed to be here watching this. You got shit to do. This will be here on playback. I didn't expect a ton of Eagles fans to be here tonight. You got stuff to do. You supposed to be go flip a car over. Go light a building on fire. Y'all gonna tear that city up tonight any damn way. Go participate. Just don't go to jail. Go have fun. Leonardo Fattarelli says, beast of a game. Will you do a 2017 draft recap rating? I don't know if I'm going to go back and do revisionist history. I'm so busy with the 2018 draft now that the season's done. It's a quick turnaround. Combine will be here in about 2 weeks. And the draft wrap-up series will be here before you know it. But in the meantime, you've got the Draft Prospects 101 series. We'll go in the draft room every Wednesday night. So it's going to be so busy, I doubt I'll have time to actually look back at the 2017 draft. Maybe we get a chance in the summer when things slow down. Maybe I'll be able to do it then. We'll see. Reese says, games like this, Lou, is why we love football. I couldn't agree more. I said that earlier. And, yeah, it is definitely why we love football. Appreciate that, Greg. Captain Spartan says, Lions better back out of Patricia. I'm going to tell you what. He's good at what he does, but I don't love him as a D coordinator. I don't think he does enough to affect the game I think he's a bend but don't break guy, y'all. He's always been that way. I've said that. The Patriots have never been dominant on defense. Not under Matt Patricia, at least. They were dominant back in the days of Willie McGinnis and Ty Law and Lawyer Malloy under Romeo Crennel. They've never been dominant under this incarnation of Brady and Belichick with Patricia as the defensive coordinator. They've always been good enough. They bend, but they don't break. But he's never been schematically that good to me, like in terms of drawing up blitzes and impacting the game. I've just never seen that from him. But that doesn't mean he's not going to make a great head coach. As long as he's got somebody to run the offense, and I'm hearing that the Lions are going to retain JBC, Jim Bob Cooter, as their offensive coordinator, which is a great move for them. I didn't know if he would want to come back after being as close as he was to getting the head coaching job. Kind of hard to stick around and be the OC. So I didn't know if he was going to want to come back or not. But ultimately, it seems like he's going to stay on as the offensive coordinator. I think that's a great move. Stafford loves him. I thought he did some great things with JBC last year. I think they make great music together. And so we'll see if Patricia can come in, get the defense going, and JBC keep the offense rolling and see if they can't make some beautiful music in Detroit. Mike Mill says it's over. Speaking of Mill, you can't tell me that the Eagles coming out to meet Mill, dreams and nightmares. Come on, man. You can't tell me that didn't get you hyped. I wanted to go out and play some football. I was ready to hit somebody. Like, that was the dopest entrance ever. All right? Dopest entrance to a Super Bowl ever. I got it hyped. I was like, oh my God. Dope. That was so dope. Anyway, John Perez says, what does this loss mean for the Patriots dynasty? It just means that they're 5-3. Out of 8 Super Bowls, they won 5 and lost 3 to NFC East teams, may I add. But nonetheless, still means they're the best coach quarterback duo in NFL history. It still means that this is the best dynasty we've ever seen in sports, not just NFL history, but in sports. What they've done over the last 20 years, 18 to be exact, since 2000 to now, what they've done in New England, you're not going to see this again. And yes, it rivals what the Spurs have done, but it's easier to do it in basketball, where the best team generally wins because it's a series. If you don't play your best one time in the playoffs, which is why we love football, you're done. This isn't a 7-game series. You don't get to take a night off, lose by 20, but still win the series. No. You either play your best football or take your ass home. And in 18 years, they've been the best team in football, or one of the 2 best teams in football 8 times. Think about that for a second. 8 times in 18 years, they've made the Super Bowl. You could probably take half of the league, put them together. You know what? You could take 2/3 of the league, put them together, and they don't have the amount of Super Bowl appearances that the Patriots have in this 18-year run. Because if you think about it, there's about 10 to 12 teams that haven't even made it to a Super Bowl. Haven't even been to a Super Bowl, let alone won one. Patriots have been to 8 in 18 years. Process that. Process it. Think about it for a second. It's mind-boggling what they've done. But they're not going to break the team up. They're going to continue to build this thing. And I just don't see them getting back to this point again, though. That's the thing. Let's see what we got. Jason says, maybe the Pats are still good, but they are old. They're still good. They are old, but they're still good. But this is the thing. Continuity is a very underrated attribute in sports. You see the Cavaliers trying to throw a bunch of guys together and win, and they're struggling. Probably still going to make the NBA Finals, but it's about continuity. It's about the same guys going into. The Eagles were relatively healthy this year. Don't talk to me about your special teams ace getting injured. Don't talk to me about these random Joes getting hurt. All right? Don't talk to me. Their offensive line was basically healthy. Yeah, they lost Jason Peters. That's a big piece, okay? But Big V stepped in. I didn't think he could. But for the most part, they stayed healthy now. Losing Wentz, That's where everybody thought this shit would fall apart, and it didn't. And that's a testament to Howie Roseman putting them in a position with a backup that was capable of picking up the slack. But more importantly, that's a testament to Doug Peterson coaching his ass off, taking the game plan and adjusting it to the player that was under center now. No more Wentz. All right, well, let's tailor the game plan to fit Nicholas Foles. Get him confident, and then we just going to open the shit up. Pats, on the other hand, you got your two coordinators gone. The defense is getting worse, not better. I don't know what to say. It doesn't look good. I'm going to tell you that much. And how much longer can Brady do this for? Yep, he won the MVP. Yep, he threw for 500 yards in the Super Bowl. Yeah, he's still damn good. But the man barely practiced this season. You know why? Because he was banged up. The hits take a toll when you're 40. So we'll see. Jason D. Nicola says, every time the Patriots are in the Super Bowl, there is one receiver that has that catch. Who do you think had it this game? There wasn't that one catch. I think it's more about the missed catch. Brady had a chance to have that catch. If he makes that catch, I don't think he scores because he's so damn slow. But boy, was there a lot of space and opportunity in front of him. At worst, it's a first down. You're not settling for a field goal. So Brady could have had that catch. The Gronk catch was outstanding. But it's what we expect from Gronk and Brady. That was a beautiful throw. Even better catch by Gronk. There wasn't that one play in this game. The special teams, let's talk about that for a second. Special teams was abysmal early for both teams. You got the Eagles with a missed extra point after the Alshon Jeffrey touchdown. Never, ever trust a man with two first names, mind you. And then the Patriots, they go and they screw up a field goal with a botched snap and hold. And then they turn around and double down on the mistakes by missing an extra point later in the game. So special teams was huge in a game that was decided by 8 points. That's 4 points off the scoreboard for the Patriots and 1 off the scoreboard for the Eagles. I mean, points come at a premium in close games like this. Can't afford those types of mistakes. But there wasn't that catch in this Super Bowl for the Patriots. But if you're talking about both teams, it's got to be the Nicholas Foles catch. I mean, that's the one everybody's going to remember. Foles catching a touchdown on a 4th down. Come on, man. That was ballsy, and it was beautifully executed by the Eagles. John Perez says, I didn't really think the Eagles would make it this far without Wentz. Damn, I was wrong. We all thought that they were one and done without Wentz. They weren't going to beat the Falcons. No way they were going to beat the Vikings in the NFC Championship game. And, don't get me started on how they can't beat Belichick and Brady. Now, a lot of people gave them a chance in the Super Bowl, more so than in the 2 NFC games. I thought a lot of people thought, well, shit, they did it in the NFC playoffs. They look damn good. This defense is better than what we thought. They got a shot. But no one expected the offense to carry the day. Everyone thought that the defense was going to have to get to Brady and this was going to be a lower scoring game. I was saying the first to 50 wins. 647 yards of total offense at halftime. That's a game in the NFL most weeks. That was at halftime. Over 1,100 yards of total offense by the two teams. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Nobody thought the Eagles would be able to go toe-to-toe with the Patriots offensively because their defense wasn't getting it done. And yet they did that in this game. Unbelievable. David Johnson says, Nick Foles is the definition of perseverance. This man got a big contract, got traded, nearly retired a few years ago, then comes off the bench and wins a Super Bowl. That is the perfect way to sum up Nicholas Foles. I watched a little piece that they do before the games. And he said, man, I literally sat down with my wife and contemplated retirement. After the whole Rams fiasco with Jeff Fisher and how that thing turned out, when I went to Kansas City, I really thought about retiring before Andy Reid gave me the phone call and said, hey, man, would you come play with us? I really thought about quitting. And I wouldn't have blamed him. You go from the high of being a backup to getting the start in Philadelphia to balling to then getting an opportunity to spread your wings and fly away with the Rams to having that go up in flames, not really get a fair shot. I thought they really dogged him with the Rams. I didn't think they gave him a fair shot at all. Was he playing great football? No. But did they give him the best opportunity to win? No, I didn't think they did that for him. And so to go from the high of being a starter and finally getting a chance to seeing that chance be essentially snatched from you, it's tough. He goes to Kansas City, buys his time there, stepped in admirably for Alex Smith when he went down and kept that team afloat en route to an AFC championship or AFC West title, which allowed him to get to the playoffs and advance. And then he comes back to Philly. And the rest is history. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, see what we got. Brandon Williams says, do you think the Patriots will be back in the Super Bowl next year? No, I don't. I don't think they'll be back. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong plenty more. But I think this was the last hurrah. Whether they won or lost. I'm not saying this because they lost. Remember, if you watch my preview for this guy, I said this was it. This is the last one. The band isn't going to be back together next year. I told you, I gave you the analogy, right? I gave you the analogy in the preview for this game. I said, this feels like Bulls, 98 Bulls, 97, 98 Bulls. This feels like the last hurrah. This feels like Jordan Game 6 versus the Utah Jazz pushes off of, what the hell is the name of the defender? I can see his face. I can't think of his name. But pushes off, shoots the jumper, and leaves it up there. It feels like that. And you knew it was over, the end of a dynasty in Chicago after that game. You knew Scottie wasn't coming back. You knew MJ was done. You knew Phil was moving on. You knew it was the end of an era. And this, even though Belichick is going to be back and Brady's going to be, Patricia's gone, Josh McDaniels is gone. It just feels like the end of an era. But the two guys that have made this thing work for 2 decades, still going to be back. They've been the consistent pieces over this run. And as long as those two are there, they're still the New England Patriots. But this feels different. We'll see. Stevie D says, I'm a Raiders fan, and the first thing I thought on that Brady fumble was tuck rule. Hell no. That never crossed my mind, but I'm not a Raiders fan, so obviously it's a little different for you, for sure. Jason says, this was my first Super Bowl being able to watch before I had to keep up via internet. I'm glad this was my first one. Hey, well, congratulations, and this was a hell of a first one to watch, man, for sure. Absolutely. Let's see where we at. Captain Spartan says, next year I'm scared. Gronk plus Cooks plus Edelman is going to be frightening. We'll see. I don't think that the Patriots are going to be as dynamic as you think. The offense was okay, but yeah, Edelman makes a huge difference. But the offense wasn't the problem this year. It's the defense. Defense is the problem. You're not going to outscore everybody, as they proved tonight. Can't outscore everybody. And we're going to see. Because I don't think that defense is going to get any better. All right. Let's see what we got. Darth Vader BI says, who is the offensive coordinator and does he deserve a head coaching job? So they've got 2 guys in Philadelphia that you need to think about. John DeFilippo is a guy that a lot of people love in Philadelphia. And also there is their quarterback's coach, Frank Wright / offensive coordinator. But Doug Peterson is pulling the strings. He's really your offensive coordinator. He's calling the plays. But Frank Wright has had a lot to do with the development of Wentz and the resurgence of Nicholas Foles. And so I think it's only a matter of time before Frank Wright gets a job. And you know what I've learned over the years? I don't love Jason Garrett, but ex-backup quarterbacks make for hellified head coaches in this league. They've seen it. They've been there. They didn't play a ton, but they're like coaches as backup quarterbacks because you're listening to all the play calls. You learn how to manage a team because you're always with the head coach, essentially. You're in the head coach's ear. You're listening to the play calls go in. You're seeing things happen on the sidelines. You're around the action a ton, but you're not in the action. So you get the best of both worlds. You get paid a nice salary. You're not in the game, but you're close enough that if you're one play away. So you got to prepare as if you're going to have to play. And you get to see everything firsthand right there. Jason Garrett, Doug Peterson. I think Frank Wright's going to make an excellent head coach when he gets a chance. You gotta look out for these backup quarterbacks that become head coaches, man. They're dangerous. Brandon Williams says, what improvements do you think the Patriots need on the defensive side? First thing they got to do is get a pass rusher. And I know that's what they drafted Derek Rivers for. And unfortunately, he got injured. But I don't even love him as a pass rusher. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't love him coming out of Youngstown State. I actually thought his teammate, Moss, was probably better suited for the NFL than Derek Rivers was. But that remains to be seen. We'll see what happens with Moss. He's in New York with the Giants. And Rivers is in New England. But they got to get pass rush. Like, I would sit here and I would clown the Patriots pass rushers, but every year they'd have some slow white dude that found a way to get 8 to 10 to 12 sacks every year. Whether it was Tully Banta-Cain once upon a time, or it was, what's the dude that just retired 2 years ago? I think it was. Either this offseason or the year before. Can't remember his name, but I don't know how the hell he did it, but he would always find his way to the damn quarterback. They always got some bum that has no business getting to the quarterback. They get to the quarterback. Well, they don't have that guy right now. They need one of those dudes. So the first thing I would say is they need a pass rush. They need a pass rusher. Then we'll go from there. Reby says, Nick freaking Foles, MVP and Super Bowl champs. Jenkins was playing his ass off. He was the MVP in the first half. Nobody on the defense deserves credit in the first half for the Eagles. Their defense was trash in both halves. They held the Patriots to 12 in the first half. But that was partly due to Brady not being able to catch. Their field goal situation being all kinds of messed up, including a botched field goal attempt. And Brady being slightly off. But the hit on Cooks was huge. And that was delivered by Jenkins. Jenkins was in man-to-man coverage a ton and was right there in the hip pocket. But those weren't typical Brady throws. Those were behind receivers, which gave Jenkins a chance to break it up. But I'm not taking anything away from Malcolm Jenkins, man. I wanted him when he was a free agent coming from New Orleans. You got him, and he's been outstanding for you on and off the field. Love Malcolm Jenkins. And Nicholas Foles deserves every bit of credit, all the accolades that come his way he deserves, because this narrative could have went totally different if not for his play. And so he deserves it. It's crazy. I'm 2 steps ahead of you, Cloud. Rob Ninkovich. Thank you. That is his name. Don't know how the hell he got to the quarterback, but Rob Stinkovich would always find a way there. And I'm like, why is this slow-ass white dude getting 9.5, 10.5, 11 sacks every year? Every year. That's what the Patriots used to do. They don't have a guy like that come up with the timely play. So that's what they're missing right now. All right, let's get to some more comments. All right. KT the Southern Gent says, does Foles test the free agent market? He's not a free agent. There is 2 more years on this deal with the option after 1. The Eagles are going to trade him, though. There's no doubt in my mind. Strike while the iron's hot. They expect Wentz to make a full recovery. Because the injury happened so late in the season, maybe he's not ready for the start of the regular season. I doubt it with the way modern science is and technology. I'd imagine that Wentz would be ready for the season. But in any event, his stock is never going to be higher. You're not going to be able to flip Nicholas Foles for anything more than what you're going to be able to get fresh off of a Super Bowl win and him being the MVP. So if you can flip him for a first, if you can flip him for a second, right now you do it. The Browns are as intriguing as any team in the league because their second is like a first. So you got to assume that you're listening to teams around the league that need a quarterback. They're looking for a veteran. So we'll see. Appreciate that, J Lock, man. Really do. Skull Candy TV says, do you think the Eagles are going to spend some money on their secondary this offseason? Well, this is what they're thinking. Remember, they drafted a player in the second round that was really a first-round pick. If you remember, they got the corner out of Washington who ruptured his Achilles, and so that's a number 1 corner guy for you. If you look at him, you're expecting him to come and be like a first-round pick next year. That's like an extra first-round pick because the dude has first-round talent, but you get him in the second round because of the injury. So I don't know if they're going to spend money. I think they like Jalen Mills. They just traded for Darby. You bring in the corner from Washington, and I can't think of his name right now, but y'all know who I'm talking about. And Sidney Jones, I think it is. Sidney Jones, I think it is. You bring him in, and this secondary might be fixed. Who knows? We'll see. So I don't expect them to spend. Rodney McLeod and Jenkins at the safety positions are just fine. That's not the problem. The safety position isn't the problem. The problem is at corner. And with Sidney Jones coming in, if he's as good as advertised, they may not have as big a problem at the cornerback position as we think. KT, the Southern gent, says, that New England pass, though, LOL, that put that on Tom versus Tom. Yeah, that was not an overthrown pass. That was right there. Brady should have caught the goddamn football. To put it this way, if Brady would have thrown that to one of his receivers and they would have dropped it, he would have been cussing up a storm. Jason Field says, it's raining in Boston right now. Mood. Greg Brewer says, you need a mod for this chat room sometimes. I probably do. I'm going to do a better job of orchestrating this next year. Trust me on that. Jason says, congrats for Eagles fans and Mr. Foles and Coach Peterson. I'm not an Eagles fan, but congrats, man. That's all you can say is, wow. Congratulations to the Eagles. Celebrate! Super Bowl champs. Reese says, that fumble was the football gods, Lou. Maybe it was. Maybe it was the football gods finally doing that to the Patriots. KT, the Southern gent, says, do you think Belichick retires? No, I don't think so. Ed says, what do you think about the Zach Ertz play? Do you think Tom Brady should retire? I thought the Ertz play was a touchdown. He took 3 full steps, extended the ball. I mean, damn, what more does he need to do? So that, to me, didn't even need to be reviewed for as long. You know, everyone was thinking the Steelers play it all over again. They're going to call it incomplete. No way. No way. That was definitely a touchdown. And Brady, should he retire? The man, let's see. He just won the MVP, led his team to a 13-3 record and to another Super Bowl, and then threw for 500 yards in the Super Bowl. No, I don't think he should retire. Maddie Ghost, thank you for the $10 super chat. And he says, F Brady, trick can't catch. I got $1,000 coming on my bets Monday. You Patriot losers better have my money. Tricks. Hey, big up to you making that bread, man. Big up getting that bread. And Brady should have caught that goddamn football. Sure. Reese says, could this be the end of the B&B winning factory? I don't think they're going to stop winning. I just don't think they're going to win as big. I don't think remember, what we forget is that the Patriots go through spells where they don't make it to the Super Bowl. Like, they went to 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, and that was the first dynasty. And after that, they didn't go again until 2007, that year with Randy Moss, where they were perfect until the Super Bowl when they lost to the Giants. Then they didn't go again, if you recall, until 11. Remember? So there was another 4-year stretch where they didn't go again. Then they lose to the Giants again. Then after 11, they didn't make it back to the Super Bowl. Remember, they haven't made it. They won 2 in a row. But they didn't make it back to the Super Bowl until that Super Bowl versus the Seahawks in 2015. So there was another 4-year gap. And then they were able to go back again against the Falcons last year. And then now again, 3rd year in a row, or 2 years in a row. Yeah, excuse me. 3 out of 4 years again, because they went in 14 with the Seahawks. Then the Broncos won against the Panthers. Then they came back and beat the Falcons last year, and now they have lost this time to the Eagles. So I think they're due for a spell, and the problem with this spell isn't going to be, well, we may have missed the Super Bowl for the last 2-3 years, but here comes Brady and Belichick to dominate again. By the time they miss out on this next 2 or 3 year period, it'll be time for Brady to go, and Belichick won't be that far behind. So I think this is it. Reby says, Eagles out-executed, out-coached the double GOATs. LOL. This is the double bonus because it's the Super Bowl and it's against the team that beat us in the last Super Bowl. All facts. All facts. All facts, Reby. All facts. All facts indeed. Makes it that much more sweeter when you get the team that got you the first time. Or the last time, I should say. Captain Spartan 04 says, Chip Kelly helped them rebuild the Eagles. Helped them get rid of the players the team was attached to. Nah. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. He gutted that team, put them in a bad spot. Howie Roseman built them back up. And maybe they needed to be stripped down naked into their bare essentials before they can be built back up the right way, but that's not the way you go about it. So, in any event. John Perez says, it was great to see Wentz holding the trophy even though he didn't play. Still got to be a part of history. They're not here without Wentz, and they understand that. That's why he was one of the honorary captains for the coin toss. That's why they always made sure they included Wentz, because without him, there is no Super Bowl 52 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Wentz got them here, and Foles, like a closer in baseball, he closed the deal. But Wentz went 7 2/3 of basically one hit shutout ball. And Foles came in and had to go a whole inning, a whole 2 innings and a third to wrap this thing up. So Reby says that hit on Cooks was vicious. Malcolm wasn't playing at all. Reese says, do you think Brady's thumb was legitimately bothering him? Was it bothering him when he threw for 500 yards? The other 500 yards? Look, he just missed. Well, were we talking about his thumb bothering him last year when or last week, 2 weeks ago when he carved up Jacksonville on them final 2 drives? Were we blaming the thumb then? Oh, man, miss me with that. He made some great throws, that throw to Gronk in the end zone for a touchdown. It's dumb. It's ridiculous. It's vintage Brady. There's no need to blame the thumb for anything in this game. He just missed some guys. KT the Southern Gent says, it's funny how things go full circle. I remember Doug Peterson as the stopgap for Donovan McNabb. Now he replaces Andy Reid and brings home a Super Bowl title. Got to use the hashtag. I see you, Robert. And just to speak about your point, all right? You say that Brady matched Foles. He did, step for step. He was right there. All right, we got another super chat. Stevie D says, dropping some money, man. Long overdue. Hey, I appreciate that, Stevie D. No doubt, man. No doubt. Appreciate it greatly. But to Robert's point, Brady did match Foles. step for step. And you could argue even had to outplay him because of the circumstances of the game. You go and lose your number one receiver. You're already down Edelman. I don't want to bring him up. He hasn't been around all year long, but you take away two of his biggest targets from him, and Brady had to be special, which is what we've come to know and love. But I put that last fumble on Brady. Brady's got to get to the outlet on the check down sooner. He tried to be greedy and tried to push it down the field, and wide open in the flats. If you go back and watch that play, is James White in the flats. Throw the football. Let him get 9 and get out of bounds. Let him get 12 and get out of bounds. It was so much space and opportunity out in the flats. Get rid of the football. Yeah, Shaq Mason got bull rushed. Brady should have got rid of the football. Jason says, 2016, 7-9, 2017, 13-3. Lost Wentz, Foles leads the team to a Super Bowl win. Rodney Ray says, everybody please report anything. Oh, yeah. I already got rid of him. I guess he was spewing that hate from a while back, and I didn't get to it. I didn't get to it soon enough, so that's my fault. I apologize. Chad Jackson is another one of those bum-ass receivers the Patriots drafted. Look, there's a ton of failed receivers. They can't draft receivers. They don't draft well, period. That's why Belichick over the years has just said, to hell with the draft. I'd rather go out and get somebody else's stuff that's already developed that I know can play in this league and trade away a pick, i.e. Brandon Cooks, i.e. Coney Ealy, even though that didn't work out for the Patriots. They much rather give away picks and go get known commodities than develop talent their own because they can't do it. King Tay says, of course the Patriots are done. When they traded Jimmy G, that officially ended the dynasty until Brady goes. I agree. That's why Belichick didn't want to trade him, because at least when Brady was done, there was a guy behind him that you thought could continue the winning ways and the Patriot way in New England. But Jimmy G didn't want to stay in New England. And it was because of Brady. And it was because he didn't know when Brady was going to hang it up. Nobody wants to be Aaron Rodgers and sticks around in one spot for 6-7 years, not knowing when you're going to get a shot to play. And Brady could play for another 4 years. Who wants to wait around? The Patriots offered him good money for a guy that has only started in 2 NFL games prior to going to San Francisco. They were offering him a $17 or $18 million contract per year. And he said, no, I don't want to sign that. That's good money and I appreciate it, but I don't want to sit on the bench for another 3-4 years behind Brady. I don't know when he's going to quit. So I need to move on. So they did what they had to do. Reese says, never thought I'd see the day where the Eagles were Super Bowl champs. I didn't think I would see it this early. I thought with Wentz, I said it's only a matter of time, but I never thought I'd see it with Nicholas Foles, though. Nah. John Perez says, my Eagles friend is happy as hell right now, I bet. I mean, could you imagine if Colt McCoy came in and led the Redskins to a Super Bowl after, you know, let's just say Alex Smith next year comes in, tears it up for the first 13 games, gets injured, Colt McCoy comes in, you know, we still win the division, we still get the number 1 seed, but there's no way Colt McCoy is going to come off the bench and win in the divisional round versus the Minnesota Vikings, and then in the NFC Championship game win at home, but again against another dangerous team and outduel Drew Brees and the Saints. No way. And then beat Brady in the Super Bowl? It's not happening. It's not happening. So just think about it from the perspective of you being a Redskins fan and how you wouldn't think that could possibly happen, but it did happen for the Philadelphia Eagles, and that is crazy to me. And so from that standpoint, all you can say is hats off to the Eagles, man. It's a testament to how they built the organization and the shrewd moves that they've made over the last 2 off seasons, and then a hell of a coaching job by head coach Doug Peterson. Robert, I'm not reading your comments because you're not using the hashtag Louie T live. That's why you're not having your comments read. So I don't know if you're still there or not, but that's why I'm not reading your comments. Gotta use the hashtag. Marie says, do you think Brady will play for another team? The only way he would do that is if the Patriots forced him out before he thought he was ready to retire. I don't see that happening, but I hope not. Nobody wants to see, Johnny Unitas with the Chargers at the end of his career. Joe Montana, even though he played well with the Kansas City Chiefs at the end of his career. Nobody wants to see that, man. Like, seriously. Legends are supposed to stay where they're at. It was weird seeing Emmitt Smith as an Arizona Cardinal. Like, no one wants to see that. When it's time, it's time. And when it's time, he just needs to go. So let's hope that happens. KT, the Southern Gent, says, Cooks is a free agent. Does he walk? With the way the Patriots pretty much hold money ransom when it comes to specific positions, receiver being one of them, they don't pay receivers. They'll pay a corner. They'll pay a nose tackle like Vince Wilfork, but they won't pay receivers. We've seen that over the years. Givens, Branch, Moss, they don't do that. So Welker, they told Amendola or Edelman, yo, hit the streets, see what's out there, and we'll be here waiting when you come back. And like a lost puppy, he came back. He didn't even want to go nowhere else. He let him home, and he came back and took the hometown deal. They're not paying Cooks, I don't think. We'll see, though. We'll see. Ragnar Rock says, where is Nick Foles going to end up after this? Great question. A lot of teams need quarterbacks. Vikings need a quarterback. Broncos need a quarterback. Browns need a quarterback. You know what I think could be a very logical spot for them? The Jets. Because when I look at it, they're not bad enough to get a quarterback in this particular draft of the top quarterbacks that will be available. I don't think they're going to get Kirk Cousins. And so you look around, there are other guys out there, and you wouldn't have to give up a pick for them. Teddy Bridgewater is going to be out there. Sam Bradford's going to be out there. Case Keenum probably going to be out there. Jimmy G's not going anywhere. San Francisco won't let him. Drew Brees isn't going anywhere. He's going back to New Orleans. And I don't think they're going to get Kirk Cousins. So the big fish are going to be off the market. So then you ask yourself, I don't think that A.J. McCarron is going to become a free agent. I think there's going to be some kind of freaky loophole that the Bengals are going to be able to hold on to him, and he'll have one more year under his rookie deal instead of being a free agent this coming year. So I don't think there'll be anybody that the Jets will be that thrilled to get their hands on and enter in Nicholas Foles. So if I had to bet, I'd throw the Jets out there as an early favorite to get him if they decided to give up some assets for him. Reese says, football season is over, Lou. 6.5 long months of no football. I know, but the NFL does a really good job, actually a beautiful job of filling the gap. It won't be until June where you really start to feel the effects of no football, because we'll have the draft to talk about up until May. And then the power of the draft will carry you through the entire month of May. There will be a lasting and lingering effect of the new car smell and all the presents you get to rip off the wrapping off of and look at, oh, we got this guy. You watch tape, you'll be obsessed with these new players, and then it'll wear off at the end of May, and then you'll be left with nothing from May to July until we get to training camp. So, yeah. Let's see. How long are we approaching? We'll go for 2 hours. Solid 2. So we'll keep hammering away some answers here. Hammering away at these questions and comments. John Perez says, I was at work today and the whole place was filled with Eagles fans and some Patriots fans too. No, that place was going nuts. Jason says, 2007 Brady won the MVP, lost Super Bowl. 2010 Brady won the MVP, lost Super Bowl. 2017 Brady won the MVP, lost the Super Bowl. Notice a trend here? Yeah. That is definitely. Were there any more Brady MVP seasons where they did win, or did he only win the MVP in seasons that they lost the Super Bowl? That's intriguing. That's something to look into. Reese says, so are you doing the Draft 101 Prospect Series this year? Yes, I am. It'll be a little bit different this year because those who are linked up with my Patreon account that are at least contenders on Patreon, they'll get a different look at everything. I'll actually break down film of some of these prospects, whereas I'll do the Draft Prospects 101 on the channel the normal way, where there won't be any film, just an explanation of what I've seen. So it'll be a little bit different this year, but yes, I am doing it. KT the Southern Gent says, are you bringing back? Yeah, I just answered that, and I am. Buffalo pregame says, I'm so glad the Patriots lost. Losing is one of the best things to actually happen in all of sports. Patriots losing is one of the best things to happen in sports. You being a Bills fan, that is definitely the case for you. Ed says, who do you think will take over the AFC? Not necessarily take it over, but it doesn't have to be one team. It could just be a number of teams. Like the NFC, there's no dominant team in the NFC. Every year it's somebody different. One year it's Carolina. The next year, it's Atlanta. This year it's Philadelphia. Next year it could be Minnesota, or it could be the Saints, or it could be anybody. The NFC is wide open. It could be Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers coming back off an injury. It could be anybody. You don't know. That's what the AFC is going to turn into eventually. I think. I don't look at any team and say they got a quarterback, they got a coach in place, dominant defense, young players, to be able to just consistently get back over and over again. The NFL turns over. It's set up for parity, and it's tough to do this. Just 5 years ago, we thought the Seahawks would be in the Super Bowl almost every other year. Look at the Seahawks now. They're falling apart at the seams. We thought a decade ago, we thought San Francisco was going to be around for the long haul with Jim Harbaugh, Colin Kaepernick. Just 2012, we thought Colin Kaepernick was going to be the wave of the NFL with RG3 and look at the 49ers. Now, they may be getting back on their feet, but their defense was dominant with Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman. Willis retired. Bowman is no longer a Niner, and Colin Kaepernick's not even in the league, and Jim Harbaugh is at Michigan. The league turns around so quickly. So, I don't think the AFC is going to have any dominant team, but you never know. John Gruden could go into Oakland, get his hands on Derek Carr, and turn that whole thing around in Oakland. Who's to say? But right now, gotta knock the king off the mountaintop, and that's the Patriots. And with Brady and Belichick still being there, they're not dead yet. I don't think they're gonna get back there, but they're not dead yet. John Perez says Eagles could go on to win some Super Bowls with Wentz over the next decade. Maybe the Redskins will get back to prominence, but we need our quarterback of the future. We need him soon. It's gonna be tough to knock the Eagles off. All this did, them winning the Super Bowl, was give them an abundance of confidence that they did not need. They got a young team with talented football players, a ridiculous quarterback, a really smart, creative, dynamic head coach. They're dangerous, man. And he's got balls, too, which is scary. Giant L says, who do you think the Pats need to sign to win another title? I don't think it's one player. If they could get a pass rush, that would change everything. They would go from this thing is falling apart at the seams to, if Brady gets his stuff back, Edelman's back, Gronk's back, they get Cooks back, and even if they don't get Cooks back, just getting Edelman back, because they had it going before Cooks got there with Edelman. You'd like to think that a pass rusher would change some things for them, but easier said than done. If it were that easy to get a pass rusher, everybody'd have one. So, Jason Fields says, defense was always bad. We just forgot. Just forgot. Reese says, will the Patriots still portray themselves as the underdog? Well, I don't know how they could ever portray themselves as the underdog, but you don't win the Super Bowl, you weren't the best. So now that puts a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. So we'll see if they're able to do it next season. Ragnarok says, where's Nick Foles? I talked about that already. Giant L says, does this game hurt Brady's legacy? No. Remember, he threw for 505 yards in this game. He didn't lose this game. He didn't make many mistakes. He missed some throws, but they didn't lose this game because of Tom Brady and the offense. They lost this game because the defense's inability to get stops. That's why they lost this game. Their defense gave up 41 points. You want to take that one field goal away at the end when Brady was stripped, you still gave up 38, which was enough to lose. KT the Southern Gent says, put some respect on Nicholas Foles. All three of y'all. Gotta put some respect on that man's name. Samak Rosario says, Alshon Jeffrey's catch for Philly's first touchdown was pretty memorable. It was. It was a nice grab, and that was some sticky coverage by Rowe. And Jeffrey went up and got the football. It was a great throw by Foles, a great catch by. But the one that will stick out will be the Foles touchdown. If we look back on this Super Bowl 7 years from now, it won't be the touchdown to give the Eagles a 9-3 lead. It'll be the touchdown on 4th down to Nicholas Foles on a beautifully executed trick play. Byron Russell. Thank you, guys. Byron Russell. That was the name of the guy that Jordan pushed out of the way. I knew it was Russell. I couldn't think of his first name. Reby says, and your chips are gone for good. My chips been gone. I put them away at the NFC Championship game. After you destroyed Minnesota, I put those chips away, never to bring them back out again. And this was just an amazing run to the Super Bowl. And to win it, wow. I thought it was possible. I was talking to a buddy of mine today, and he said that the Patriots were going to be blowing the Eagles out in the third quarter to the point where you wouldn't want to watch the game anymore. And I'm like, nah, bro. I said, as a matter of fact, I think the Eagles can win this game. I just don't have the balls to pick them. I've been burnt by going against the B&B winning factory too many times to where it scared me senseless. It took my nuts away from me. Is what it did. So I wasn't willing to go out on a limb, but I thought the Eagles could win this game. And for every reason that I thought they could win, it is exactly how this game did not play out. It was the direct opposite. I thought the defense could get to Brady, harass him, and that would be the difference in the game. They didn't get to Brady except for that one sack, strip, forced fumble at the end, which was really the difference in this game. Neither team played any defense, but one team made a play defensively when it had to, the other did not. The Patriots had a chance, up 33-32, to get a stop on 4th down. They couldn't do it. Eagles got the lead. They knew what to do with it. I don't get your question. Our power storm. Greg Brewer says, what is Foles' trade value now? Better than Smith in the 3rd rounder? Well, remember, Smith also had a player attached to it. A damn good one. So I think Foles can fetch a 2nd round pick right now for the Eagles. And if you catch a team desperate enough, I don't think anybody's drinking the punch and drunk off of it to the point where they'll give up a 1st for Foles. But I think you can definitely get a 2nd rounder for Nicholas Foles right now. Right now. Eric Villa says, Gronk says he doesn't know if he's going to return in 2018. He says that now, but we'll see. They got to pay him. I know that much. Patriots are really cheap. So we'll see what happens. They've won without Gronk in the past, so they may think, we don't need that guy. It's nice to have him, but we're not going to pay him a stupid amount of money. They could always franchise him. I mean, the tight end franchise tag is peanuts. So we'll see. All right. Little man KCD football says, will Foles be an Eagle next year? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they're going to trade him. The stock is hot. And I think right now, if I'm the Eagles, if you want to get something for Nicholas Foles, the time's now. You know, you'll enjoy this. You'll love it. You go have your ticker tape parade. And then the first chance you get to trade Foles, you do it. Which sounds bad. The man just won you a Super Bowl, played his brains out, and was the MVP. But business is business. Well, we'll see. Reby says, yes, Foles outplayed Brady tonight. I'm so proud and happy for him. No doubt about it, man. I thought Brady went toe-to-toe with him, but again, it's Nicholas Foles versus Tom Brady. Who thought that that would be an even matchup? And you could argue Foles actually outplayed him. Who thought we would even be able to have that discussion at night's end? Seriously. It's crazy. Reese says, will the Patriots continue? Okay, already talked about that. Brandon Williams says, who do you got taking over the AFC? We just talked about that. Reby says, a touchdown by Foles. That was even more beautiful after Brady missed his. It was a wonderful game. Everything that could have went well for you did in this game except for the missed extra point. And I hated the fact that the Eagles went chasing after those that 1 point so early in the game. That was the only mistake I thought Peterson made in this game was, bruh, at 15-3, don't go chasing after those points. Leave them there. Leave them there. Don't go chasing that. It'll be there. Leave it there. Could have cost you. You got lucky. Joshua Zarate says, what steps would you take if you were the Patriots coming from this loss in Super Bowl 52? And what would you put most on blame on the players or coaches? I would blame the coaches more so than the players, especially defensively. At some point, you got to come after Foles. You got to make them uncomfortable. They never did that in this game. Nicholas Foles was never under siege. They could never generate. Look, you don't have any guys that can win one-on-one, so then it's on the coaching staff to generate pressure. You couldn't get to Foles, and you couldn't stop the run. And good. Again, give that Eagles offensive line credit. They're damn good. But you got, and then no Malcolm Butler. I still need to know what's going on there. Someone needs to explain to me what happened with that situation. Why didn't he play? I need answers. And I'm not even a Patriots fan, but I need answers. Because you got gutted in the secondary. Why wasn't Stephon Gilmore on Alshon Jeffrey from the start? Again, all of these are coaching blunders and mistakes that I thought hurt the Patriots in this game en route to the 41-33 loss. So I would put more of the blame on the coaches. But I will say this too. The Patriots did a horrific job of tackling. So that can be placed on the players as well. But still, I think this was a loss that you put squarely in the lap of the coaches, especially on the defensive side of the football. And if you're the Patriots, to answer your other question, again, my biggest thing is you got to be able to attack the quarterback. This is a league that is predicated on having a quarterback that can ball and being able to get to the other team's quarterback. If you don't have both, or one that is extremely dominant, as we've seen with Brady over the years, but they've always had somebody. Tully Banta-Cain, Willie McGinnis, Rob Ninkovich, somebody that can get to the quarterback. They've always had at least one dude. They haven't had that. They didn't have that this year. They need a guy. Rodney Ray says, yeah, Sidney Jones. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Reby says, I got to say the Pats defense played better than I thought they would, but Foles worked it out. If you thought they played better than, I don't know, you must have thought they were going to be as garbage gets if they played better than you thought they would. Because they were horrible in this game. Let's see what we got. Captain Spartan says, Eagles too loaded at cornerback. Rasul Douglas, who I like, and I don't know if he got injured, but I loved his size coming out of West Virginia. And he had some picks this year as a rookie. Sidney Jones, Patrick Robinson, Jalen Mills, and Ronald Darby. They're not going to make any moves at cornerback. You got young guys. You got a mixture of veterans in there. I'm with you, Captain Spartan. I think they've got some talent. It's all about cultivating that talent and getting it to produce on the football field. But it's there. That's why I told you, this team isn't going anywhere. Barring injuries, this team's going to be around. They're just too good, too well coached. They're not going anywhere for a while. Reby says, already looking forward to next season when the Pro Bowl players that were hurt comes back. Reby says, Doug just got the keys to the city of Philadelphia. Doug ain't never got to buy another drink, another meal. He ain't got to never pump gas in his car. Doug is straight for life in Philly. He's a made man. All right. Just off the basis of this Super Bowl chip, the man has got a job in Philly for the next decade. Now, obviously, if things go awry, they don't win, he makes some poor decisions, they'll turn on him. But it doesn't matter. Even if things go sour at some point in Philly and he gets fired, 20 years from now, Doug Peterson's a made man in Philly. Especially if you don't win another chip. Thomas Sal says, Howie Roseman earned my respect this year. He made this team who it is over the past 2 years. Howie Roseman is a boss. Straight up. He's been shaking and moving behind the scenes. You don't give guys credit in the front office until their team blows up, but this has been long overdue, man. I mean, the moves, I already went down the list of moves Howie Roseman has made this season to put the Eagles in a position to where they are now. It's ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous. See, Rodney Ray says, look at the latest reports from Malcolm Butler. He said the Pats gave up on him. May lead to a future trade or just traded a young corner. Remember, they were going to try to get rid. Remember, they didn't believe in him enough to give him the deal. They gave his money to Stephon Gilmore, which I think kind of in part led to him playing so poorly this year. So he didn't have a great season, but to give up on him in the Super Bowl, though, maybe they didn't want him to get hurt because they want to trade him. But this is the last year of his deal, right? Like, come on. This is not the time for this. Anyway. Check my Twitter. Somebody just told me to check my Twitter. So I'm going to check my Twitter. Joey Katarowski says, I want to hear your early favorites to represent the NFC and AFC next season. It's too early for that. I know you just said I want to hear your early. I'll give you that at some point in the offseason, but I want to see how free agency goes, how the draft goes, because that stuff makes a difference. You know, you make the right moves, you pull the right strings, you get the right players. And the Browns, look, they're a scary team. And I know that sounds crazy, and they just went winless. But if they make the right moves, they draft Saquon Barkley. If they can get a quarterback in free agency, let's say they can get Kirk Cousins. I don't see it happening, but let's say they can get Kirk Cousins. They can draft Saquon Barkley. And if they want to double down and get a defender or another offensive skill player, whatever, they could be in a position to turn it around like that. I mean, the offseason is huge. And this is a unique offseason because there are more good quarterbacks available than we are accustomed to seeing in free agency. There are more good players that can help you turn around your franchise sooner rather than later in free agency. Some under-the-radar sleepers at the skill positions, like a Carlos Hyde in San Francisco. I think his time is up in San Francisco. If he can stay healthy, he can help a football team. Receivers, Allen Robinson coming off of an injury in Jacksonville. What is he going to command on the free agent market? If he's healthy, he's dangerous. What about P. Rich in Seattle? I think he could be a really good receiver for somebody. Jarvis Landry could be a game changer for an NFL franchise. There are a number of guys available that can help you turn your team around quickly. And so I'm kind of anxious to see what happens. So, yep, Rodney Ray just told me to look, and Bleacher Report says, Malcolm Butler said, they gave up on me. F. It is what it is. That's some bullshit. And that's bullshit. And they deserve, I'm glad they lost. Because that's that Patriot way bullshit that I told you I despise. I cannot stand the Patriots for the way that they conduct business. So you ride with a guy for 18 weeks of the season. You get to the final game and you tell him he's not good enough? Okay. All right. Gotcha. How'd that work out for you? Glad you lost. We're moving right along. Joshua Zarate says, do you think the Patriots will move forward with Brady and try to win more or try to draft a young quarterback? They don't have a choice but to draft a quarterback because they don't have one now. They got Brian Hoyer backing up Brady. So they have to develop a young guy. So they would have never traded away Jacoby Brissett if they didn't think, if they thought that they couldn't get Jimmy Garoppolo to sign on the dotted line, they would have never traded Jacoby Brissett. Now they got to do this thing all over again. They got to draft a quarterback. But not to take Brady's place now, but to groom him in the event that Brady can't go. Samak Rosario says, the Patriots have not drafted well for years. They do what the Raiders did in the past with Al Davis when he picked up vets to help the Raiders win. And when you win, you're able to sweep that under the rug. But I'm telling you, all that's going to come to the forefront. See where we at. All right, we got 5 minutes left. John Perez says, both defenses played like straight up ass cheeks, but Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett both made the play that mattered the most. Facts. Surgeon General 108 says, I guess Robert Kraft's money wasn't long enough to buy the refs this time, but he gave it a try anyway. And there were a couple of calls in there. I'm like, they better not overturn this Corey Clement touchdown. They better not try to overturn this Zach Ertz touchdown. They tried, but not this time. RRR Power Storm says, Eagles trusted the process. Who can stop the RPOs? Not the Patriots, not the Eagles, or not the Vikings. Eagles did a little bit, but they got their share in the second half of that game as well. Hulk says, what do you think about Gronk talking about retiring? Kind of sounds like a poor sport. He might be a little sour right now. It stings not winning the Super Bowl. But you got to remember, he's had a number of problems with his back and his elbow. And so he's been beat up. For the short time that he's been in the league, he's been beat up. It doesn't shock me that he's talking, retirement. But I don't think he's going to retire. But we'll see. I read that, B. My man Rodney Ray sent me to Twitter, and I seen it. It's just crazy. I can't believe the Patriots did that. They deserve to lose this game. BE says, what do you think about Foles in Arizona? That's another spot. I didn't even think about Arizona. That's another landing destination potentially. I go Arizona or Jets. Those are the two places. And don't forget about Buffalo. Those are three destinations I could see Foles landing in. Buffalo, Jets, Arizona. Maggie Schwartz says, could we have won this game with Wentz instead of Foles? Absolutely. Would you have gotten here? I don't know. It's crazy that I thought to myself, would Wentz have won those two playoff games? Maybe. I would like to think he would have, but he's never been there before. Hasn't been in the playoffs. You say what you want about Foles, and he not having that much playoff experience, but he did go that one year where he went 27-2. You guys won the division and lost to the Saints in the wild card weekend. He has been in the playoffs before. So there was a little bit of experience. With Wentz, that would have been his first time. Maybe he makes a mistake in the Falcons game that loses you that game. Maybe he makes a mistake against the Vikings and that's a totally different game. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't duel and go step for step with Brady. And maybe he makes a mistake trying to force a ball or using his legs and tries to escape and forces one. And you lose this game. I don't know. I'd like to think that you could have won with Wentz, but Foles was playing so well at such a high level. I don't know. Hard to say that Wentz would have played exactly the same way. Captain Spartan 04 says, where Belichick getting that pass rusher? Trading for one? Signing someone? Would it be someone random or a big name like DeMarcus Lawrence or drafting one? You know, Lawrence is available. Cowboys don't have a ton of cap space, but that's one of their own. I would surmise that they would find a way to get DeMarcus Lawrence back. He had a career year. Pass rushers don't grow on trees, but they got to do something. They got to do something. That's why they traded for Coney Ealing, because they knew they had a problem. And remember, Coney Ealy ate them up, or he watched Coney Ealy eat up the Broncos in the Super Bowl, so he thought, let's go get this guy. And it didn't work out. And they tried to draft Derek Rivers, and he got injured, and that didn't work out. So they acknowledged that they had a problem at getting to the quarterback, but didn't work out for him. Per Pub says, so Nick Foles is going to leave the Eagles because he won a Super Bowl, doesn't want to be the number 2 anymore. First of all, it's not up to Nick Foles. The Eagles own his rights. He doesn't have a no trade clause. If the Eagles say, hey, look, Nick, it's been real, bruh. Appreciate everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything you've done for us. Everything. Including that chip, including the MVP, coming in for Wentz. Everything, bruh. It's been real. But the Browns just said they'll give us a second-round pick for you. And Wentz is coming back, so we're going to go ahead and make that deal. Like, that's not up to Foles. That's the Eagles organization. Now, the Eagles could say, hey, Wentz could go down, or Wentz may not be ready for the start of the season. We want to hold on to Foles, and they may not trade him. But if this is a business, and we know it is, Foles definitely could be on the block. So we will see. Ragnar Rock says, how does this Super Bowl rank among other Super Bowls? Pretty high. It's not the best. You know, everybody loves to do that. We are prisoners of the moment. So I wouldn't go as far as to say it was the best or anything of that sort. But it was a pretty damn good Super Bowl. I mean, we've seen, and this was good start to finish. We've seen some great finishes. Like the Tyree helmet catch, that wasn't a great Super Bowl, it was a great finish. And the Super Bowl where the Giants beat the Patriots at the end, it wasn't a great game throughout. It was a good game to watch. But it wasn't great action-packed, fast-paced from start to finish like this one was. Last year's finish was ridiculous, but it was an ass whooping for much of the game. So this one ranks pretty high. But we've seen that Steelers, Cardinals Super Bowl with the San Antonio Holmes catch. Remember, Larry Fitzgerald had the big catch and run for a touchdown to give the Cardinals what seemed to be the game-winning touchdown and lead. And then they go right back down the field, and San Antonio Holmes has the catch. Remember, that had the James Harrison pick right before the half for a touchdown. That game was amazing. So there have been some amazing Super Bowls. This one is right up there among them. But we've seen some damn good Super Bowls of late. I mean, the Patriots and the Seahawks Super Bowl with the interception on the last play, that was ridiculous. And that was a great game start to finish. The Panthers and the Patriots in like 2003, that fourth quarter, third and fourth quarter, it's ridiculous. Back and forth, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. It's crazy. So we've seen some really good Super Bowls. This is up there, though. It's a really good game. And on that note, I think it's pretty safe to say that we're going to end it. And, wow. Eagles fans, celebrate! You can call yourselves Super Bowl champions for the first time in franchise history. I never would have thought in my wildest dreams that it would be Nicholas Foles. Super Bowl MVP, played out of his mind. He played just out. He played otherworldly in this game. it was almost like an out of body experience. But the only thing is we've seen Foles do this before. He's capable. Wow. But it's going to do it for your man Louie T here, as the Philadelphia Eagles are your Super Bowl champions, besting the New England Patriots 41-33. Nicholas Foles, your Super Bowl MVP. He was outstanding. He deserved it. He made every single throw and decision in this game. Brandon Graham makes the play of the game, however, with the strip of Brady with just a bit over 2 minutes left in this game. Patriots trailing by 5, scooped up by Derek Barnett, led to the field goal that pushed the score out to 8 at 41-33, which would ultimately be your game-ending score. Brady made it interesting, getting it to midfield, eluding a sack, and throwing a Hail Mary. It bounced around for a while, but it ultimately found a patch of grass as the Philadelphia Eagles, under head coach Doug Peterson and quarterback Nicholas Foles, hoist the Lombardi for the first time in franchise history. Philadelphia Eagles, celebrate your Super Bowl champions. I'm your man Louie T, signing off. If you get a chance, please donate to the channel via Patreon or PayPal. Those links that you see in front of you down in the description below. So if you can, please donate. I thank all of you who donated on Super Chat tonight. Big shout out to you guys for helping the cause. But wow, what a Super Bowl. What a game. Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champs. We'll talk more about that in the offseason, obviously, but we're going to turn our attention to the draft now. Philadelphia Eagles, Nicholas Foles. Who knew? Super Bowl champions. I'm your man Louie T, signing off. I'll see you next time.